Hello, everybody. What's happening? What's happening? I'm Dr. Thunder, and this is Two Dads React. Two Dads React, and that's my collaboration with Tony from God Rules. And yeah, we're two lame-o dads. We've known each other since fifth grade, and we approach this show several world events and topics and everything from a Christian worldview. But there's some spiracy, might be some spiracy in there. Maybe good for you to grab your tinfoil hat so you can adequately decode the secret messaging. But we've got a great show for you today. Look at what else is happening around the eclipse. So we've got all of these events that seem to be, you could interpret them as it could be some biblical prophecy being fulfilled. Is this what's happening now? So this coming Monday, we have this eclipse. We've got this deal with these cicadas. We've got earthquakes in diverse places, right? This big Taiwanese earthquake. We've got population decline. We've got the further proliferation of this 4B movement, actually traveling from Korea, where it's been very effective at keeping the population down. There are more dying than are born each year in Korea. And we see that traveling here to the west, as it were. All of these things happening. And there's much more to discuss. Much more to discuss today on Two Dads React. Let's go. Warning: some viewers may find the following video disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised. What's happening?
Hey man, how you been? Another week.
I'm all right. Yeah. Crazy week. All kinds of crazy stuff going on.
Oh yeah.
And busy stuff, and just productive. Keep your head down and work. That's happening too. But more silliness with world events, and I think this is going to be a really good show. We're going to pack a lot of stuff in, a lot of stuff. There's a lot of things going on, and I happen to believe that all of these things are directly related. It's all part of a sort of decline, signals, signs of the times. I just took my tinfoil hat off. I don't wear that on the air, but I just took that off. I think yours is under your probably is under your desk too.
Yeah.
But between shows, we have been tuning in,
Aliens.
yeah, to aliens and spiritual forces from beyond. And so we have a fresh program for you. Let's talk about some bugs first.
All right. Sounds good.
All right. Let's see what we got. Let's talk about some bugs. See what we got.
Well, this spring will bring an event so rare it has not been seen since Thomas Jefferson was president.
Before you get too excited out there, we want to warn you, it will be loud and likely very annoying. Two different broods of cicadas will emerge at the same time in a rare, synchronized event. This last occurred in 1803. It sounds like the Olympics.
I was going to say, why does this sound like a trailer?
Starting in April, billions of the winged insects will make an appearance across the Midwest and Southeast for their raucous mating ritual. Okay,
here, I know your son loves bugs. I feel like he needs to be our entomologist, cicada reporter, cicada watch, because we love cicada stories.
You know what? Coming this summer, coming to a TV near you. I'm going to put him on the iPhone. He would love that.
Well, this spring.
This woman, she pronounced raucous. She did not recognize that word on the teleprompter and said raucous. I thought that was funny. But I digress. So what do you think about these bugs? What do you think's up with these bugs?
So it's actually two broods of more than 1 trillion cicadas will emerge in the U.S. this year, according to what I got here. And it's not happened since 1803. This is the first time since 1803 we've had this many cicadas, which basically reminds me of the plagues of Egypt. Moses, of course. And I've seen this pattern before. I've seen it in Saudi Arabia multiple times, where they'll have like very huge hailstones, and then they'll have like cicadas or grasshoppers or whatever they got. I can't remember what cicadas, I think there as well, something like that. Big, huge bugs. And then they also had the water turning red in the Saudi Arabia a few times. Actually, it's happened I've seen it in 2 different years. It happened in the past recently. But the fact that we haven't had this happen since 1803, I guess it's kind of a big thing in that respect. And also it feels like it fits in with this whole eclipse thing where we've talked about up till now, where we have it going through Jonah, Texas, going through Nineveh, all these cities, obviously pointing to Jonah. And the story of Jonah was during an eclipse too. And then at the eclipse, 40 days to repent. So basically that'll bring us exactly to Pentecost. So the time is up for those who haven't done right. Here in America, on Pentecost. And I guess we'll see if it happens like we hope. I really hope something changes, hopefully not in a bad way, but a good way when that time comes. So that's what I'm hoping. How about you, man?
All right. Okay. I hear you. Let's see. I got some more bugs. Let's talk a little bit more about bugs, and just more information about the bugs. We're getting some different
We're gonna be
angles on
eating
these
them too
bugs.
soon here. We're gonna be eating them soon here as well. So
Oh goodness,
get some time. Trillion of them, man. Good protein.
Yeah, very crunchy.
If you live in Michigan, Illinois, Wisconsin, Iowa, Missouri, Arkansas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina, Virginia, Tennessee, or Kentucky, you need to watch this. So billions, if not trillions of cicadas are going to emerge in the US this year with a rare double brood event. If you don't know what brood means, it's basically the different families of cicadas, because there's multiple. So this spring, 2 different broods of cicadas, one that lives on a 13-year cycle and the other that lives on a 17-year cycle, will emerge at the same time from underground in a rare synchronized event. These 2 broods coming up at the same time has not happened since 1803. It's been a while. If you need to be reminded what a cicada is, they are these massive, loud bugs that fly everywhere. So as I just said, these insects are known to emit a high-pitched buzz or a mating song that can reach up to 100 decibels, which is roughly equivalent to a motorcycle or a jackhammer. These broods of cicadas are supposed to emerge in mid-May and end in late June. Go back underground. Even though these bugs are incredibly annoying, it's also worth noting that they do not bite or sting. They do have prickly feet though that could poke your skin if you hold them, and they're obviously insanely loud. I do these roundups every day, so make sure you add me and come back to me tomorrow.
I think I've heard them before. I think I remember hearing them before. They're extremely loud.
Oh, super
loud. Like they make this noise like that, super loud.
Yeah, it's and it's pretty gross. They're pretty gross. Yeah.
Good stuff.
That's right.
I love the bugs, man, because you can't afford those $20 Whoppers or $25 Whoppers soon here. Got to eat some cicadas.
That's right. Got to eat some cicadas.
3 cicadas.
So something else happening. Let's see here. Something else happening here. So, is the moon turning to blood? Is it turning to blood? What's going on here? Let's listen to
There's
this.
no air on the moon. But then, how can it be rusting? Scientists have discovered the presence of hematite on the moon, and it's a kind of rust. A special NASA research instrument examined the light reflected off the moon's surface. It turned out that the composition of the satellite's poles was very different from the rest of it. The moon's surface is dotted with iron-rich rocks, but without oxygen and liquid water, rust can't appear. Solar winds add to the mystery. They bombard the moon with hydrogen, and hydrogen makes it much more difficult for hematite to form.
Okay, so hematite, which is okay.
Well, I'm just curious. Perhaps they don't know what's really on the moon if they're saying that, because from what I understand, there was a guy who spent a very long period of time taking tons of photos of the moon, very close up on little sections of it, and he made this massive moon picture that showed very clear signs of rust. And it was shortly after that, then NASA was like, oh yeah, there is rust on the moon. But then they can't explain why there's rust on the moon. So it makes me think they either don't know what's on the moon, or they do and they just don't want us to know what it is. One of the two. Which one? But yeah. Makes sense.
Okay, let's keep going with this.
Why is the moon rusting? Why is the sun turning dark? The sun shall be turned into darkness, and the moon into blood, before the coming of the great and awesome day of the Lord. Signs point to Armageddon, which means the rapture will happen soon and the tribulation will begin. We have only noticed the moon rusting since 2008 AD. Joel was written around 800 BC, and Acts was written around 60 AD. But Peter, quoting Joel in a speech, was around 30 AD. How did Joel know? Because God told him the future prophecy. And it shall come to pass that whoever calls on the name of the Lord shall be saved. Who you gonna call? Jesus Christ. All you have to do to be saved is believe in Jesus Christ for your salvation, and you will be saved by grace through faith without your works. Jesus shed his precious blood on the cross for the forgiveness of your sins.
All right, of course, I would differ somewhat with his version of what salvation and what the process is, but I do think there's some interesting business about this scriptural reference. What do you think? You think that this is a reference to the moon turning to blood, this rust? What do you think?
Yeah, it could be. I mean, it could very well be. I mean, also you have blood moon tetrads. That's usually a sign of something big happening. In the past, I can show that here on the screen real quick, but
Okay.
I got it around here somewhere. Do I have it around here? Where is it at? Oh, here it is. So you have like in the past, we've had eclipses in clusters over America, and that's usually when you have like the Revolutionary War, the American Civil War, Vietnam, and also when you have tetra blood moons, which are when the moon looks like it's blood, but it's not really rust or something, which actually is interesting because it says if the moon turns to blood or red, perhaps it means continually and not just at these phases where the moon appears to be red colored, right? But when you have these blood moon tetrads where you have like multiple, like 4 blood moons in a row, you had like the Roman War with the Parthians, Saxon War, all these type of things. But the thing about it is like, yeah, I didn't exactly 100%. What did the guy say for the gospel there? I mean, it sounded like Chat GPT giving it, but what did it say? Did it say
no,
faith
he
or
was,
something?
it's that whole, salvation by grace, but no works involved, no partnering with God to bring forth salvation as a one-time sort of occurrence. Like right now, I said the prayer, and so now I'm saved. That right. Stuff. I don't like that approach to it. Apostle Paul basically says that you press to the end, and then you'll be saved. That's what Paul says.
So you're saying continual. So what you're talking about is fidelity, faithfulness to God, which the word faith in the Greek means commitment. It means fidelity. It means like when you say I'm faithful to my wife. So some people have this idea that you can have faith in Christ in the aspect of like being an adulterer in a marriage. Like, hey, I've married my wife. Now I can go sleep around with other women. I mean, this is kind of the logic of some Christians, which is not what it means. Because you're getting married to God. Marriage supper of the Lamb is not to go around like a whore and sleep with everybody else while you're trying to get married to, So,
that's right.
Yeah.
Hey, folks. Hey, folks, you could really help us out by hitting that like button. We got about 70 people in here. If you hit that like button, it gets more people in here. That's how YouTube works. That's the most valuable, most important thing that you can do. And the way you really can show support is if you're watching now, if you're enjoying the program, then hit that like button. Please hit the like button.
There's a guy that we went to high school with. I'm not going to say his whole name. His first name was Ricky, but I don't know if you remember him. He lived actually not far from where we live. I mean, he kind of lived in our area where we grew up, in our like sort of not too far from our house. But he told me one time he got saved and now he can do whatever he want. I remember like I was riding in a car with him. He's like, "Yeah, I just got saved." Yeah.
See, that's right.
And I was like, "I don't think that's what it means, dude. I don't think it means you can go do whatever you want now. I think there's a little bit more to it than that." It's like, I got my ticket, man. I can do whatever I want now. Yeah. I don't think that's what it means to repent and then go out and do whatever you want and then repent again,
Okay, I got a little bit more on this, bloody moon business. So let's see what we got here.
Did you know the moon is rusting and it fulfills Bible prophecy? Check this out. So there's this kid that took the most high quality photo of the moon. It was like 2,000 images combined, and you can clearly see the moon is rusting. And that's not even the craziest part. NASA indicates the presence of hematite, which is a name that is derived from the Greek word meaning blood. Joel 2 says the sun shall be turned to darkness and the moon to blood before the coming of the great and awesome day of the Lord, and it shall come to pass, whoever calls on the name of the Lord shall be saved. Turn to Jesus today before it's too late, and for more Bible prophecy like this, follow now.
Okay,
All
so
right.
hematite obviously has a red color to it. Bro, I got something pretty crazy. Okay, so this is from NASA. They had NASA gives warning ahead of total solar eclipse. I don't know if it's in this clip here, but I saw the clip over on another channel, and I can tell you what the guy said. So basically, he's a guy officially announcing, I guess, like, you know, a warning before the solar eclipse. And what he said was, unusual things will start to happen. And then he goes on and say that things will get out of balance. This is literally what he said. Actually, there is I can, if that doesn't have it in it, where he said, I can actually show you another spot where it's at. It's on a 3-minute mark on another video, but he literally says that people will be watching the solar eclipse. And then he said, unusual things start to happen. And then he says that's because things will get off balance. And then when he said that, it's something I had a theory about. Like there's a thing called the Foucault pendulum that actually changes its angular direction during a solar eclipse. And it's not supposed to, because allegedly it follows gravity, but it doesn't follow gravity. So for some reason it changes when there's a solar eclipse, and scientists still have no clue why it does this. They've done tests for like the last 100 years and couldn't figure out why it does this. And I think it's because either they don't know what's really going on, like scientifically, or they do, or some people do, and they don't want us to know what's going on. The reason, because when he said there's unusual things that will start to happen, it's because I think what I personally think is going on is we're living in an electromagnetic universe, and when the solar eclipse happens, it actually manipulates the electromagnetic fields around what's underneath the earth, what's underneath the sun and the moon. And I think it actually causes things to go off balance. And this is why you have earthquakes that happen during solar eclipses and things like that. We just had that earthquake happen in Taiwan. It was like a 7.4. So I think, you know, we also had one back in 1830 when they had an asteroid in the sky and a solar eclipse at the same time. It was an 8.8 Richter scale. And so we have the Devil's Comet in the sky while we have the solar eclipse. And personally, I'm thinking, you know, why would the NASA guy say this? And if you can't find it there, it's in this link here. If you want to play this one instead, it's at the 3-minute mark. I think it is.
Well, I mean, I've got this one queued up. Let me.
Yeah, try that one and see if it's in there. Yeah, try that one.
Yeah, this is just 38 seconds. So.
Okay.
Here we go.
NASA has a warning for people who want to get a closer look at next month's total solar eclipse.
Make sure you have the proper eye protection, like the eclipse glasses. And as you look at the heavens on April the 8th, when the eclipse starts, please, please put those glasses on.
This could end up being one of the most watched solar eclipses ever, with more than 31 million people living in its path. That path covers 15 states from Texas to Maine.
He just plays part of it. They don't play the whole thing. If you go over to the 3-minute mark, I think it's about
this other video that you
solar
sent.
eclipses happen all the time, once every 18 months or so, on average.
Let's see, where does he say it at?
In moments like this, a total
327.
solar ellipse.
Or 320. Try 320. Or
It's a
310.
moment,
Yeah, he says it in there.
and it's a rare sight that we haven't seen in 7 years.
Yep.
And unusual things start to happen as
He starts
the
talking about
normal
unusual
rhythms of
things.
Earth are disrupted. When you're seeing this eclipse, you ought to observe this. As the day appears to turn to dusk and then dark, people have heard birds stop singing. They've seen giraffes suddenly begin to gallop. Roosters start crowing. and crickets chirp. So watch for these unusual behaviors. And we encourage you to help NASA observe the sights and sounds.
Yeah. Unusual behavior.
Yeah, that was it. So, I mean, there's like a lot of weird stuff that happens. And I think it's because we also rely on sort of like the electromagnetic waves around us. Like, for instance, I saw this one experiment where they sat a guy in a chair that could rotate like this, and they blindfolded him and then rotated the chair and then asked him where he was pointing and he could figure it out. But then they put magnets around his head and then he couldn't figure out where he's at. So I think there's like, we actually have I think animals are much more susceptible. They understand their bearing better than we do. And maybe that's why they start acting weird when a solar eclipse happens.
Sure. Okay. That's interesting. Something else that's been happening and has happened as a precursor to something catastrophic is the appearance of these. Well, let me play this. Here we go. There we go.
The size of the thing. Oh my gosh. And I'm taking a movie of it.
Thank you for taking the movie, but that is not a fish you want to run into. That is an oarfish, also known as the Doomsday Fish. It's basically a sea serpent that can grow up to 30 feet long, but they are extremely rare. And people say seeing one is very bad luck. A lot of cultures around the world believe seeing one of these means something terrible is coming. In fact, 20 doomsday fish washed up on the shore of Japan in 2011, just before the notorious earthquake happened, which ended up being one of the most catastrophic in history. In other words, as beautiful as they may be, seeing this is not a good way to start 2024.
Yeah. And actually, I was going to cover that too. I got that as well. They saw some in Taiwan, and before we had the Taiwan earthquake that just happened too, right? Yeah.
Yep. Here's another one.
If you're swimming in the ocean and you see this, run fast. This is the Doomsday Fish. Part of Japanese mythology, oarfish only swim to the surface when bad things are about to happen to humans. Normally they live about 3,000 feet down in the ocean, and to encounter a live oarfish swimming is extremely rare. They are known to grow over 50 feet and weigh over 600 pounds. In 2011, many people saw about 20 doomsday fish wash ashore right before an 8.9 magnitude earthquake in Japan. The earthquake caused a massive tsunami, which resulted in a nuclear disaster in Fukushima, Japan. And what's crazy, besides me, is the fact that the earthquake shifted the Earth's axis and changed the Earth's rotation speed. 2019, some oarfish swam to the surface right before a 7.3 magnitude earthquake, which caused massive blackouts. And now some scuba divers in Taiwan has found some oarfish swimming close to the ocean surface, which is making many people wonder what's coming next. Many people say it's just a coincidence, and science experts say it's just mythology. But the question is, what are these fish running from an ocean? Y'all ready to go swimming? If you're swimming at the beach and you see this thing, don't go sticking your body in it. It looks like a plastic bag that sunk to the ocean floor. But this is a worm-like sea creature called pyrosomes. They're giant creatures that live 200 meters below the surface of the ocean floor. Their open is 1.8 meters wide and can swallow you easily. If that isn't crazy enough, check this out. This isn't just one creature though. These are thousands of creatures working together to survive. They create these tunnels to filter water for food. They realize that working together in unity will help their chances in life surviving. Imagine if humans acted like this.
He called a tsunami a tsunami or something.
That's ChatGPT fake news. That's one of those Sora AI guys, man. Not joking.
Yeah, I thought I would be at least, fair, since I was critical of the woman that was mispronouncing something.
I can show some stuff on this too. I have a couple things here I can show in this.
Sure. Here we go.
So,
wrong one. Here it is.
Yeah. So here, of course, you notice this one is in Taiwan, and we just had the Taiwan earthquake, right? 7.4 magnitude earthquake hits Taiwan. That just happened. And like I said, I was saying that there's probably going to be some earthquakes potentially around this solar eclipse, and we already had one. There's one that just happened today, or was it yesterday, last night, whatever it was, something like that. Very recent. Okay. So
it was the third. I think it was the third. So
the third. Okay.
So what is that? That's yesterday. Yeah.
Fourth in their country, and the third here, maybe, or something like that. I don't know. Because it might be the fourth there. Yeah. So it was the third in our time, but fourth in their time. But also, I found this other video. It's just kind of weird. I thought I'd show this. Maybe I can have you play it. This is in Australia. They actually have worms this big. This is like the biggest one. So they have these things called lawn worms, but they're usually not this big. They're usually only 3 foot long. This one looks like it's probably about 15 foot long. It looks like a boa constrictor, dude. Could you imagine pull one of those out of your lawn?
That's
Maybe you can
crazy,
play real quick. Look at that. Look at that.
Sure. Did you send it to me? Okay.
Yeah, look how long it is. He's all the way on the other side of the road.
All right.
Yeah, I think this is in Australia.
All right, hold up.
This is the biggest he ever seen, too. This is the biggest he ever seen.
Okay, let's see what we got.
Guys, I'm out on site in Glenmore Park. This client's been complaining about the lawn losing all its colour. Oh my god, look at that. Look at that, Rodney. Rodney's just pulling this out. This is a giant lawnworm. They eat away at the roots of the plant. Look at that, Rodney. That's insane. That's one of the biggest. Oh my god. Anyway, we've pulled this out now. The lawn should recover pretty well. Good luck. Hey guys,
what the heck, dude?
In Glenmore Park. This client's...
That's crazy.
Yeah, that's like insane. I thought it was fake at first, and then I started looking up some stuff on it. And they're called giant Gippsland earthworm, and they only live in Australia, I think. They're usually only 3 foot long, but that's probably like the biggest right there you can get, probably, which is insanely huge. I don't know what the heck, man.
Hey, I've got something on this is pretty interesting. Right here on AI. So this is a robot. This is a robot that it's an AI robot, and it's given a menial task, which is like a minimum wage job. And look what it does after only working 15 minutes.
We decided that it was programmed with this robot was programmed with AI technology to work a minimum wage job without tiring. However, after approximately 15 minutes of the robot doing basic work, it decided that it would rather shut down and essentially kill itself, determining that was the most logical choice. This is extremely unsettling. Considering a robot would do this, imagine how humans must feel that work these jobs. This robot...
Oh my goodness, that's hilarious, dude. What the heck? Come on.
Dude.
You think that's real, man? Come on, man.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. It could be fake. You know, it could be
no,
fake.
but you know what's interesting? You brought that up because you're actually like in the same vein as me. You must be listening to those out in the outer space like I've been with the tinfoil hat there, man.
That's right. It's under the desk. I don't wear it during the broadcast. I don't want to.
We were in sync or something earlier. Yeah, so like in California, they just passed a $20 minimum wage, right? What's interesting about that is 2 months ago, they came out with this, and a lot of people don't even know what's going on. And I feel like what's going on is those that are at the top are playing chess while we're playing checkers, and they're just messing with you people. They're literally messing with us because this automated AI restaurant opened in California 2 months ago, fully automated. And then they passed the $20 minimum wage in California. And then right instantly after that, a lot of these companies did mass layoffs. And now we have Taco Bell and KFC and other restaurants talking about having AI robots, just like you were showing on the screen here. Same thing. Apparently, maybe they won't be, taking themselves out like that one did, but I kind of wonder if it even took itself out. Maybe it just malfunctioned or something, but that guy just kind of reinterpreted it like it was sick of the job or something. I don't know. But yeah, I just sent you did you get that? I just sent you a link on that. Maybe you can play it. Okay. But I can show this real quick. I can show something else if you want. AI, if you show my screen, I'll show it. AI gunning for fast food jobs next. KFC, Taco Bell operator, Yum Brands, planning Chat GPT like bots to boost operations. And I saw another robot. They just took a random robot. They put Chat GPT in it, like you said. They put it on a table, and they told it to clean up the table, and it figured it out real quick. So I think it can figure out what to do real quickly. Like it's not even like made for the robot. It just figures out how to do stuff. And so that's kind of disturbing, especially for these type of jobs. And I kind of feel like maybe they did the minimum wage raise to cause or have an excuse for these companies to bring in AI robots. So that's why I think they're playing chess while we think they're like, oh, they're going to give us a raise. No, they're not. They're just trying to get rid of your job, dude. You know what I mean? Like, seriously. They're not giving you a raise. And in reality, the raise is not going to solve anything. The real problem is the guys at the top are printing the money and giving it to their friends, and then you got to pay it in inflation. It's a hidden tax. It's probably bigger than the taxes you pay every year. What you pay in inflation is probably bigger than the taxes you pay every year. That's like a second tax that you don't even know exists. And they're playing chess and think it's funny. It's stealing your money. This is kind of how I look at it. But
hey, folks, we've got 93 people watching, but only 44 likes. A way that you can really, really help the show and to help us get more people in here is you can hit that like button. That's the single most important thing to do. Please hit the like button. All right. I'm going to go over here and I'll play this video.
Well, the robots have arrived, at least in Pasadena, California. That's where the world's first ever fully autonomous AI-powered restaurant has opened, complete with burger flipping bots. We sent CBS's Joy Benedict on a taste test.
Flippy the chef makes Spud spectacular. This automated grill gives the meat its sizzle as this restaurant goes robotic.
For this burger, it would take about 120 seconds.
Cali Express by Flippy is the world's first AI-powered eatery. There's new technology outside the kitchen, too.
A cheeseburger.
Order kiosks use facial recognition to remember you, your favorite food, and how you like to pay. Then watch the robots work. No humans required.
We can't get enough people to come out to work on fryers and grills, and they're dangerous jobs. And this automation helps solve a lot of those issues.
62% of restaurants report being understaffed. Industry experts say most of those unfilled jobs could be done by robots. And in California, where the minimum wage for most fast food workers will soon be $20 an hour, fewer workers equals cost savings. Dan Ives is with Wedbush Securities, a wealth management firm.
Once the minimum wage went to 20, that's the bell going off. More and more focus on spending on AI. Because look, that's inflationary. That's the problem. You can't necessarily pass all that to the consumer.
Flippy can cook 250 pounds of French fries an hour. The burger bot, 100 patties.
These restaurants are very, very busy at peak times, and every second that gets added to somebody waiting in the drive-thru is a lost revenue opportunity for that restaurant.
Is it costing people their jobs?
That's not what we've seen. It's really here to help.
Come on.
No,
of course it is.
At Cali Express will put the finishing touches on orders. For customers, the price of the meals are competitive. As for taste,
is it going to affect the quality and the taste?
I would say yes, in a good way, because now each burger is being cooked precisely the same way every time.
Time will tell whether AI takes over kitchens everywhere. That will be up to the public to chew on. Joy Benedict, CBS News, Pasadena, California.
AI robot burgers, man. Yes, indeed.
Oh, my goodness. All right. We're keeping it moving. We talked a little bit about this earthquake. Let's hear. Oh, wait a minute. That wasn't that much detail.
Yeah, that was just showing the building that went sideways. There's like a few of them at least. I don't know how many, but that was one of them.
Okay, that's not.
But yeah, that was a pretty big earthquake. It was in a small area though, and it was kind of like not the most popular part of Taiwan, so it didn't do as much damage as it could have if it was in a different place, like if it was in a big part of the city or something.
Okay, here we go. I've got the better one here. Let me
it was a 7.4 too, which is not small. That was not a small earthquake.
Yeah. I've seen as high as them call it 7.7. Okay,
really?
let's keep going.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Yeah, go ahead.
Ever wonder about the top 5 facts you need to know about the recent 7.4 magnitude earthquake in Hualien City, Taiwan? Well, hold on tight as we unfold the chronological events of this devastating natural calamity. Fact 1. The earthquake struck on the 3rd of April, 2024, with a magnitude of 7.4. It was the largest quake to hit Taiwan in 25 years, causing substantial damage, particularly in Hualien County. Fact 2. The immediate aftermath resulted in 9 fatalities and an estimated 946 injuries. Rescue efforts were rapidly initiated, with a grim expectation that the casualty figures would continue to rise. Fact 3. In the wake of the quake, tsunami warnings were sounded, putting the surrounding regions, including southern Japan and the Philippines, on high alert. These warnings were, however, later rescinded, averting a potential secondary disaster. Fact 4. The earthquake's impact was so severe that it caused the collapse of 28 buildings and triggered numerous landslides. Amidst the chaos, 77 individuals were reportedly trapped in tunnels and the ruins of collapsed buildings. Fact 5. In an inspiring display of engineering and resilience, Taipei 101, Taiwan's tallest skyscraper, stood firm amidst the earthquake. The building, equipped with a 660-ton steel pendulum known as a tuned mass damper, reduced the building's movements by up to 40%, protecting it from the quake's devastating force. To summarize, the recent earthquake in Hualien City, Taiwan, was the most significant in 25 years, causing numerous casualties and extensive damage. Tsunami warnings were issued, but later lifted, while rescue efforts are ongoing for those trapped in collapsed structures. Despite the widespread devastation, Taiwan's tallest skyscraper, Taipei 101, withstood the quake, demonstrating the power of robust architectural design and engineering. The aftershocks continue, serving as a reminder of the raw and often unpredictable power of nature.
You think that's a AI voice there? It's like a lot of them.
It could be.
There's like so many TikTok type videos that are like AI voices now. It's like annoying, you know. I don't know what's up with it.
All right.
Yeah.
So
you know, a lot of stuff going on. Go ahead.
So one thing I did want to talk about is this thing called the 4B movement, and I think that this is also related. This is also related, to
4B movement. What is that?
So here, I'll let somebody
earlier.
else. Yeah, I'll let somebody else explain this.
All right.
Here we go. Here's the video. Oh, wait a minute. My window closed. Let's see, overlays. Okay, there we go. Okay, there we go. Window. Not overlay. I want scenes. Where did it go? It disappeared on me. Windows. It's like the.
Oh, here we go. Someone's explaining
window
4B
moved on
movement.
me.
4B movement.
Windows moved on
Oh,
me.
South Korea. That's the whole
Yeah.
population.
Yeah, one second. Okay, here we go. Let's do this.
All right.
There it is. So
okay, what is it?
Let's take a listen.
I'm so glad you asked. The 4B movement is a movement in South Korea right now where the misogyny and sexism is so bad that South Korean women have decided to opt out of dealing with men entirely. That is not a joke. That is not an exaggeration. They are not dating men. They are not marrying men. They are not having children with men. They're not even sleeping with men anymore. And it's called the 4B movement because the Korean words for those 4 things all start with the letter B. This kind of first started happening around 2016 when Kim Ji-young, born 1982, a novel came out. And it is a fictional book about a Korean and every woman and all of the misogyny and sexism that she's experienced from literally being a child all the way to her being an adult, suffering with postpartum depression after having her child. Now, this book became a runaway bestseller among South Korean women because they were like, she's just like me for real. And that's kind of when it started cooking, right? Now, the movement officially got its name in 2019, and it's just been going ever since. It's so successful, in fact, that now South Korea has one of the lowest birth rates in the world. The number of deaths in South Korea outnumber the number of births in South Korea. And it's hilarious because all the men and the government are like, oh my God, what do we do? They don't want to like talk to us. They don't want to date us. What do we do? Like everything's in shambles. We don't know what to do. When South Korean women have been very clear from day one, they're like, hey, either you get your act together or we are literally eliminating all of this. Like, we are shutting it down. So that's the 4B movement and why I'm so obsessed with it and why I think we should have the 4B movement everywhere. Thanks for listening. Bye.
Wow.
Okay, now you can tell she has a particular bias in, she seems to think it's a good thing that population is declining and it's bringing everything down just to make the point. You know,
well, this
just
is interesting.
To make the point.
Where did my wife come from? Where did I meet my wife? South Korea. My wife's not Korean though. My wife was working in South Korea, and I saw the lifestyle of the women in South Korea. Okay, at least the ones that she worked with at the engineering firm. A lot of them were atheists, for one. They didn't believe in anything. Two, they're like age 35 and they were still partying. They were literally going out like they're 20 years old. Like they're 35. Yep. And that's how they were living there. At least those that were working at the engineering firm, I can't attest. I mean, maybe the country girls are way different. I wouldn't doubt it. I'm sure it could be the case. But this whole book thing, it you know, she talked like it would not be easy to stop. It'd actually be very easy to stop. The government could just make a law against it. You know what I mean? This is what I'm saying. Like the government always seems to make laws that seem to be anti-family. You ever notice that? They never seem to be pro-family, except for in a rare case where like their country's literally falling apart. Like in the case of Russia, they actually became more pro, and then they started trying to actually instill, you know, they try to direct things that direction. And actually it's worked. They've kind of turned it around. But a lot of countries are very anti in the West because they don't think they need us. They got AI robots to replace us, folks. They don't need to pay you $20 an hour. They want you to self-implode. They want you to just love yourself. Don't get married. Don't have kids. Hate family. Become whatever they want you to be, man. And that's what they want. They want you to question who you are. What am I? I'm a guy. I don't know what I am anymore. They just want you to just like be totally self-centered. Don't think about anything else. Don't care about your country. You're not supposed to care about your country either. That's another thing. But I mean, the whole point is that the government, the word government means govern the mind, governmental. It means control the mind. That's the whole point. They could easily do something about it if they wanted to. Very easily. I mean, look what happened back in 2019 when the came about. They were able to very easily control what people were doing. Closed everything down, right? So they could easily do something if they wanted to. They don't want to. So that's my thoughts on it.
All right. Let's keep going here.
The 4B movement. A smaller but growing movement.
I mean, look what happened back in 2019 when the came about. They were able to very easily.
Oh yeah. One second. That's the playback. Let's try that again. Here we go.
The 4B movement. A smaller but growing movement among Korean women. 4B is shorthand for 4 Korean words that all start with B, or no. The first no, bihan, is the refusal of heterosexual marriage. Bichulsan is the refusal of childbirth. Biyonye is saying no to dating. And bisexu is the rejection of heterosexual sexual relationships. Wow. They said no to heterosexual marriage, no to childbirth, no to dating, and no to hooking up with dudes. They're done. Finished.
That sounds like everywhere.
Yeah, this is taking on aspects of this are sort of, coming this way. Here, watch this. This is particularly, there's like some, yeah. Let me just keep going.
Protection from who? Protection from who? That's what I fucking want you to answer. Because the only answer you can give is protection from men. So you are threatening to withhold what minimum protections men have offered from other men? Wow. My God. People should really think this whole movement thing. And women love to go to work, and we love to pay for our own shit. And honestly, do you know how happy women are going to be when they aren't popping out your fucking children to take care of anymore? Like, bro. And if we do decide to have children, because we can do that without your asses, the community we will build to aid each other, enjoy.
It's just it's a ridiculous level of delusion. It's a ridiculous level of delusion.
They don't realize that they're just helping out those that don't want them around anymore. You know what I mean? They want robots to replace you, man. They want robots everywhere. I mean, honestly, it's so obvious with the whole California thing. They don't need you anymore. They got robots, and then they'll just like have Terminator 2 and they'll have like guarding the streets and making you do whatever they want. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
I don't know.
All right, let's do this here.
4B movement is going to force men to be red pill. It doesn't matter if you're single.
Hello, brother.
I'm actually not going to play this. I'm just gonna tell you what she says because the video's like 10 minutes. Okay, so what she talks about is how she says that she thinks that the supposedly basically black men hate black women, right? That's what she's saying. And she thinks that red pill is basically men that hate women. That's what that's what she thinks. Right, of course, that's not.
I've heard people in my family say that when I went to eat when we had Easter. One of my family members said that's basically what it means is they hate women, which I thought was kind of ridiculous to say because I don't even consider myself like part of this red pill in the aspect of like the common thing with Andrew Tate and all this, but I just think it's kind of funny when they say they hate women. I'm like, I don't think they hate women. It's more like they're just expecting something, a woman you could actually marry and have kids with. That's more like what they want. They want a woman that actually wants to be a wife, and like actually acts right and stuff. Right?
Well, honestly, what it is it's because there's aspects of it that I've been critical of, and aspects of it that I think are basically just biblical principles. It's just traditional, Abrahamic religious principles. A lot of it is, but it's a pushback against feminism. That's really what it is.
Yeah. Right.
100%. It's not hating. But I could actually argue though that feminism, although it tries to act as if it's some sort of equality for all, it's obvious that that's not actually what it is, because if that was the case, when a lot of these metrics have been hit, they would have stopped the rhetoric, the constant pressing, which tells you that it's really about supremacy. And I'd argue that actually is a hate movement.
It's about division now. I think once it got to the point of where they got what they needed, then it just kept going because they needed something else to keep going. They're like, oh, we already got what we need. We got to keep going though, because we want to keep this whole gravy train running. So we got to come up with some new problem and then just keep making up stuff and keep it going. And in reality, it caused division and troubles in society instead now.
Right. But she gets into that. Actually, I'm going to save that for another broadcast, a different topic.
I didn't even know about this movement, but this is just basically another version of feminism. It's just in another country. It's basically.
Oh yeah, well no, I mean it's definitely animated by feminism. That's definitely true. Here, check out what this guy's talking about.
Are we not going to talk about how feminism is led by misandry? Like the 4B movement? Is that not of the devil? Like, it's literally evil. These women are talking about how they're not going to date men, sleep with men, procreate with men, and all these other things, right? And it's like, wow, like, what are you going to do? Feminism is going to lead these women into dating each other. Literally, that's it. This is not going to benefit you in any way. In any way at all. Like, what is this going to do? The 4B movement? This just screams you hate men. Like, imagine if men got on this app and said, oh, yeah, we're going to participate in the 4Bs, and we're not going to sleep with women. We're not going to talk to women or date women. You know, we would get shamed for that. Actually, you know what it sounds like? It sounds weird. Like, this literally goes against human nature. You're not going to sleep with men and procreate with men and marry men. Who in their right mind would want to participate in that? Actually, a misandrist. That's who.
Yeah. That's right.
They have robot husbands and they get artificially inseminated. Robot chat GPT husbands and get artificially inseminated.
So what else do you have for us in? I actually see all of this stuff as being directly related. I see it all as relating to decline, and actually fulfilling certain prophecies, certain conditions for the approaching end of times. I actually see many of these things as in line with that. What do you think?
Yeah, I think all this stuff fits in line with sort of like the end. What we're seeing is kind of like the tail end of sort of corruption and evil just reaching its final point in America and the world. And you can see this is not going anywhere good. I mean, if you don't have people procreating, it's a simple, that's like the first command, be fruitful and multiply. It's like
That's
literally
right.
contradicting the
100%.
first one. And it's just like so obvious common sense. Like, what am I, a guy or a girl? I don't know. It's so confusing. I'm not trying to be sarcastic, but like seriously, we're at the point where we're questioning stuff like that. I mean, this is like the fall of an empire, like the Roman Empire or something. And then also I wanted to mention on the solar eclipse, apparently they're going to be running the Hadron, Collider. They're going to be running that. And there's some really curious stuff going on with that. I didn't even have it all open. There's an article from Scientific American. No, it wasn't Scientific American. Popular Mechanics. It's from Popular Mechanics saying that the Hadron Collider is haunted. See if I can find that one. It's Popular Mechanics. Was it CERN haunted? Yeah, they're like literally saying, this is supposed to be science. But what's so funny is they use Greek god names for right now, they're actually launching 3 rockets into the solar eclipse. NASA is. And they got a name for it. The name is actually after an Egyptian serpent god. So why are they launching rockets into a solar eclipse? Does that make a lot of sense? Then we have CERN running exactly during the solar eclipse, and they're looking for ghost particles. So they were looking for the God particle. Now they're looking for ghost particles. Is this just a joke? I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like they're toying with us. Like they know what they're doing. We are supposed to not know what they're doing. This is what I was saying about the $20 minimum wage in California. That was not to give you $20 an hour and everything's good again. No, that was to get rid of you and get AI robots in there to take over the jobs.
100%.
And people can't see that. Right. And then with this, if this is all about science and Neil deGrasse Tyson, why are they always naming it Greek god names and like serpent deities and Shiva? They literally built CERN at the temple of Shiva, which is Apollyon. In Revelation, Apollon's like the evil character at the end. Then you have, of course, them looking for, it says here, physicists found the ghost haunting the world's most famous particle accelerator. This is in Popular Mechanics. Like, I thought it was all about science. Why are they doing this? It doesn't even make sense. So to me, I find this all really curious. And then, of course, where did they find some of these ghost particles? They found them in Antarctica. Scientists may have caught 7 exotic ghost particles. Like, you mean you caught ghosts? Are you saying like you brought things in from another? What are you saying? I thought they're like science. This is supposed to be science. And of course, they have some science behind it that these are very elusive and they pass through things. So they're ghosts. And then they give all the scientific garb to it. But it just makes you wonder if they're just messing with you. You know what I mean? Like, because they're actually building a larger one now. They're building a larger accelerator. And Stephen Hawking said that the CERN accelerator could destroy our fabric of the universe. And then they're going to do it during a solar eclipse when things are already going weird. As you heard from that one guy, he said,
right.
To quote him correctly,
with the electromagnetic fields and stuff. Yeah.
He said unusual things start to happen.
Yep.
And things get off balance, but then they're going to run the particle accelerator exactly when that's happening. When Stephen Hawking said it could actually destroy the fabric of the universe. And then they're building one much larger. The LHC is this big. They're making one that's like this big, right next to it. It's like 5 times bigger. So why are they doing all this? What are they really looking for? Oh, they're just looking for a couple building blocks of physics. Why would they waste so much money doing that? Does that even make any sense? Like, seriously. I don't know. I guess you might do it. It sounds kind of like something you would do, but then they're pumping so much money into it and building new ones, and they're doing them on weird days and stuff. So it just makes me wonder. Anyway, that's my thoughts on that, but I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, no. I mean, yeah, I think that's interesting. And, I've talked about this passage in Isaiah. What is it? Isaiah. What is it? 4. Was it chapter 4? Let's see here. Yeah. Right here. That's good. So Isaiah chapter 4, verse 1, and in that day 7 women shall take hold of one man, saying, we will eat our own food and wear our own apparel. Only let us be called by your name to take away our reproach. And I used to when I read this when I was, like still a teenager or something, I thought that what it meant that it was saying what the world population was going to be, that it was going to be because of wars, that the men would be all thinned out. There would be very few men and there would be 7 times as many women. So that's what I thought it meant. But now I'm starting to understand that that's not what it means. It's what the women considered to be the viable options. What the pick that they say they want is. So that's different than, are there available guys? Well, because of the Pareto principle, 80% of the dudes are invisible, and it's like something like 90% of men are deemed unattractive by women. They'll say, like, which doesn't make any sense, or are below average in attractiveness. They'll say, like 80% of them. So, yeah. So it's just interesting. And then you start talking about resources, and you start talking about how the deck has been stacked in a particular way to prop the women up. So it's like the women are making money, and they're competing against the men for the kind of jobs that would have been able to provide for a family in the past, but they still don't actually even want kids per se. They just want the kind of guy that they want to take away their approach. They'll buy their own stuff. Hey, I got my own money. I'm strong, independent, don't need no man. Right. So that's the way that I read that. And the 4B movement, of course, is, it's exactly that. It's like the personification of that. It's not necessarily the pining after the elite guys, but it sets up the conditions for that, because the women in I was listening to something earlier, and it was talking about how in Korea, because the men have to be in the military for 2 years and the women do not, the women can get a head start in their career and surpass all of the guys. But then, since it's still basically a traditional society in many ways, the men are still expected to buy the ring and buy the house and do all of these other things, but it doesn't make any sense because, like, look, you have money too. Matter of fact, you're making more money than I'm making, but I still have to do all of this stuff. So it's just a bunch of like really weird dynamics that are created by
I feel
monkeying
like
around with this.
it's the government that causes this. They allow this because they're the ones that allow whatever to be on the radio waves, whatever to be on the TV waves, whatever to be on the internet, and they encourage it. They encourage this type of thinking, and so I feel like they think the family is the enemy. And like a story in the Old Testament like this, you see, is when Abraham's family got so big, Egypt was scared and enslaved them. It was like the same mindset, like, oh, we can't control them anymore, so we got to do something about it. And in our case, they're just like trying to make you think, well, you don't want to get married. Why would you want to get married? And why do you want to have kids? What are you? Are you a man or a woman? Do you know?
I got to tell you this. I got to tell you this. This is directly related. In that same video that I was watching, actually, it's a video. I think BGS actually sent me that video. BGS said more. But anyhow, in the video, they talk about how they're going to change the cohabitation laws so that they can change this whole dynamic of, you know, a bunch of single people. They're going to allow people to basically just cohabitate and not have to get married. And then they'll have kids, and then they're going to create all of these incentives, and they're working on these incentives now to pay for childcare, to, you know, reduce the rate of rent and stuff like this for people that decide to have kids, to make it so that you don't have to get married. There's no penalty if you don't get married.
But is there obligations on the other side where like you're treated like a married person? You have to pay child support and all this kind of stuff as well.
Yeah. So basically, the reason for it is so that it reduces all of that. So all of these sort of counter incentives for getting married, they're attempting to eliminate those. And then, like, if it doesn't work out, it makes it really easy to dissolve because it's not a marriage. Like they're doing all kinds of, it's crazy. They're doing all kinds of stuff, man.
It's just funny. Like they actually took something that was working and broke it. Like if it ain't broke, don't fix it. They tried to, it's kind of like when you get a company and it's running really good and then they get some new blood in there and they're like, well, we got to fix it up and make it better. They make a new logo and the logo's even shittier than the old one. They like swap around stuff. The company's even worse than it used to be because they're busybodies. They have nothing. It's like idle hands are the devil's workshop. You have nothing to do with your life. You're sitting around making money, sitting at home, and all you can think about is how you hate men or something. It's like idle hands are the devil's workshop. You're like basically taking something for granted that was working really well and then destroying it and trying to make it better, and you're actually making it worse. Oh. Basically. So thousands of years of history and like Jordan Peterson would say, like you got all this history in the Bible and how they're learning how to work within the family and structures and all that, and just throwing it out the window. You know what I mean? That's what, communism, all these things, just throw it out the window. We know better. These dictators know better. Or these authoritarians know better. And of course, people think they know better too, but pretty much.
Yeah. I said something on, it wasn't yesterday. I've got a morning show called, Rolling Thunder, and it's 8:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, Monday to Friday. And Monday to Thursday, it's just, I'm presenting a topic. I'm usually reviewing a video. I link the videos in my Discord, by the way. And if y'all want to get on the Discord, that's trying to grow the Discord. Also, in the description on YouTube, there's a link to the Rumble, to my Rumble. I'm trying to become platform agnostic, so you could help me out with that too. But I I was talking about, and this is something that I frequently said. Look, I'm willing to have the conversation, and if people have ideas, if you have an approach, a way that you think can fix a lot of these, a lot of the problems that we have, especially in Western society, a lot of the problems. If you have ideas, let me hear them. I strongly suspect that your solutions are not going to be nearly as effective or better than the solutions that are presented in the Bible. And I know people don't like Bible thumpers, and they don't like people, proselytizing and wearing Jesus on their sleeve, and and all of that kind of stuff. I understand that. I totally get that. Frankly, I don't really like it either. It's it kind of gets irritating when people try to shoehorn Jesus into every conversation. So I get that. But if we had done it the way that the book said, are you at least willing to admit that we'd be far better off? It's just if we had done it the way the book says.
Well, I think part of it too is it's like, if you can imagine the devil, I feel like he set up some of the leadership in the church to lead everybody astray and think wrong too. So you got all these goofy pastors that are like, kicking the Bible across the church. You saw that we covered that, right, in the previous video.
Yeah, we played it on air.
Yeah.
They booted the Bible. This woman
they're
booted
literally
the
kicking
Bible.
the Bible like a football. I mean, that's not church, dude. That's totally not church. This is a joke. I mean, Jesus is clearly not happy with that. Okay, you kicking the Bible across the church? Seriously,
right?
bro?
And this other guy put a bunch of syrup all over the Bible.
Yeah, that guy's really messed up too. That guy's like in the same range. Okay, he's like totally in this. I heard a lot of his own people left and said that God told him to leave, and then he's like, he couldn't believe that God told him to leave. Really, bro? You're putting syrup on the Bible, and we got a trampoline in there. He's doing a bunch of crazy stuff. I don't know all the stuff he's doing. That guy's. I don't know what's going on with that guy. But one of my point is that I feel like the devil put up all these bad guys, bad apples in the church, and then outside the church, I think you see the same thing. And I think he does a lot of clever tricks where he'll just slightly change something in society, and it just destroys it. You know what I mean? Like, people questioning their gender. This 4G you said, or 4B?
4B. Yeah.
It's just a little book. See, a book saying something that basically gets everybody off track, or thinking wrong, or thinking about themselves only, and stuff like this. So the devil knows how to do this stuff. And
this is the name of the guy that was pouring syrup on the Bible, by the way, Mike Todd.
What else did he do? He did something else really bad too. I can't remember what it was.
Oh yeah, I remember he's the one that at his church he had the woman on the cross. And
oh yeah, that was it. Oh,
and then he had people up there on the platform, basically had women up there twerking and stuff.
I didn't even know that was the church with the woman on the cross. I did a video on that. I didn't even know who the pastor was. I just did a video because I saw it and I was like shocked. Yeah. Yeah, he has basically some gangster rap type stuff going on, and
I just don't. I guess I do understand why people would like to go to a place like that and call it church, then going to a place where there's a fire breather in the pulpit telling you that you're going to hell, and you better do right, and you might come this way, but we're gonna make you change. You're not gonna be able to stay being a hot mess. And yes, by the way, body count matters. Of course they don't want.
You're not going to hear that even in a conservative church, man. They're going to think she got saved. She's a clean virgin now. Okay, so everything's great. It's just like when you get out of prison, you're like a prison inmate and you get saved. And now I'm perfect. But those prison inmates, some of them are just faking it. They just want to get out of prison, so they pretend to be a religious guy so they can get out early, right? I mean, it works out. And there's also guys that are in business. They'll do this as well in the Christian establishment. They'll pretend to be Christians just to do business in the Christian realm, and they're just completely fake, just to make money. right? So it's everywhere, man. You got this stuff all the time. But
yeah, it's frustrating. But my point, and like I said, I've said this frequently. Yeah, you might not like Bible thumpers or whatever, but you have to admit that if we had done it the way the Bible says, we'd be far better off. And once more, if you have an idea that you think is better than the ones that are presented in the book, that would be more effective, let me hear them. Tell me what they are. But I strongly suspect that those ideas are going to be derivative. They're going to be the source of those ideas, if you know it or not, will be biblical, if they're going to be effective at all. So why are you resisting the book?
Yeah, man. I mean, I agree, but I think even in the case of the Bible, like a lot of people interpret it the way they want to read it too. So there's issues even in that realm as well. But I mean, like, I think even if we had polygamy back, I don't think it'd be as bad as people think. A lot of people think it'd just be like a horror show. I think it'd actually be fine because the only people that'd be doing it are the rich ones. It'd be like Andrew Tate type dudes. And instead of, Tristan Tate, like, from what I understand, he has like 5 girls a day. And then he might actually just have 20 women he's married to and not going through all these virgins and then they're no longer virgins. You actually might have a few virgins still around.
So I did a show. I actually did a show. I think it was last week, and the name of the show was "Is Polygyny the answer is polygyny the answer to the single mother epidemic in the black community?"
Yeah, I mean
that's what that was. Yeah, and and I went
I'm
down.
not saying it's not perfect, and I'm not saying that they're the same level. Like these women that have went through a lot of men, maybe they would be lower level wives because you had that in the past as well. You had concubines and you had the higher level wives. The higher level wives were virgins, right? And then the ones that were lower, concubines or whatever you want to call it. I know women don't want to hear this, but like if you've already been run through many times and you're like age 40, I mean, what do you expect? I mean, I'm not going to buy a used car for a brand new car's price, right? So, you know what I mean? Like, what are you talking about?
Man. I don't know if you.
Maybe I shouldn't use the car analogy. I don't know. There's probably something wrong there. That's the wrong way to say it.
Yeah, but I mean, what you're saying
she
is
went to church. She's perfect. She's like a 20-year-old again, man.
That's right. I mean, I've even said I've said the thing where, if a woman is saying that she wants a God-fearing man, and she's like a 3-time baby mama, then that's code for she just wants some dude that is going to be compelled. He's going to be forced and coerced to forgive her for all her, misdeeds.
There's a prophet in the Bible that had to do that, right? What was
Hosea.
it? Hosea or something?
Hosea.
Yeah.
Yep.
He had to marry a woman like that.
That's right.
And God told him to stay with her for a while.
Yeah, no, God.
Really?
But here's the thing with that, because I covered that. I might have covered that in the same show last week. But here's the deal with that. God commanded Hosea to go find a prostitute and wife the prostitute up. Okay, that's actually what it says. He said, go find a woman of basically a loose woman, a prostitute, and wife her up, and then I want you to have kids with her, and even though she kept going back to the street, you're not permitted to divorce her like this. But people don't understand. No, we're not supposed to do that.
That was prophetic, though, right?
That was prophetic. The reason for that,
married to Israel, and Israel's like
that's right. Yeah, that's right. He was communicating. This is what it feels like.
So what does that say about America? What does that say about America? Right. Same thing, right? America's like a prostitute. Oh, go ahead, man.
Yep. No, but I mean, we're saying the same thing. So it's just it's silly stuff. All right, you have anything else you want to show us, or are we about that time to wrap it up?
I could talk about the bridges real quick. You heard about that, obviously, right? The bridges, the
Sure.
Maryland bridge that got hit, obviously, but then there was another one that got. So there's this one article that said, okay, what was it? Here we go. So this article said 3 ships hit bridges in different countries in 3 months. So like 1 ship a month hit a bridge, right? And then, of course, we had the one, and this is showing the one from Maryland where it collapsed the bridge. Which, of course, I'm sure we've already talked about the fact that it's named Francis Scott Key, which is the guy saying the Star Spangled Banner, and the guy who painted that was Dali, which just happens to be the ship's name was Dali. What is it? Salvador Dali, and he also painted a picture of a broken bridge too. So that's kind of weird, but that's not what I was trying to get at. The fact is, in Oklahoma, there was a barge that hit a bridge like a week later. So, I mean, this is supposed to only happen once a month throughout the world. And then we have a week later, a barge hitting another bridge in America. And then that was not it. There's actually also this like massive truck, semi truck, had this huge load on the back, hit a bridge in I-95. And there's like just a bunch of these weird stories all happen within like 24 hours of each other. And then there's another one where there's like a 24 vehicle pileup, 2 pileups on a bridge. This is all like within like 24, 48 hours. And it was about a week after the one in Maryland. So I thought it was kind of weird to have all these stories just all at once. And it just made me think about the train derailments where once we had one, then there's like a million more after that. You remember that?
Yeah.
It's just so weird.
We covered that.
Yeah. It's just so strange how that happens.
Here, I want to ask G. Vinar, what are you talking about?
Who's G. Vinar?
Who is it that you're saying you all are doing the same thing? You all sleep with these women, then want to talk about them. Who are you talking about?
Well, not me.
It ain't me. I've been married for what, 16 years? How many years you been married for, man?
Like since 2011. So a little while.
Right.
Only one woman. I'm not with any others. So
right. So I don't know who you're talking about.
Yeah.
That's pretty funny.
I always
talk about somebody jumping in, hearing something getting triggered, and then just writing some stuff without even thinking about what they're talking about, or even listening to the conversation.
I used to joke with my wife that I had like a redhead and a blonde-haired girl on the side, but I was just joking. Just to kind of mess with her, you know. She didn't. She thought it was a little funny, but not really. You know, she didn't like. Oh, I don't like that, really.
That's funny.
Yeah. At any rate, yeah. So we're just lame-o dads that like stay married and stuff. It's kind of weird like that, you know. Yeah. We're not questioning who we are. We're not like becoming women. We're not like, you know, we actually have one wife and didn't cheat on her. It's like weird, you know, what's going on here, man? Had kids? What's going on there? That's weird too. Oh my goodness gracious, right?
Hey, Mr.
So how's
Z.
your son doing anyways? How's your son doing anyways?
The son is great. Mr. Z is in the chat. Good to see you in here. Everybody in the chat, Bella Rings, Andre 416, a bunch of folks. I saw Ray Hanma in here, bunch of folks in here. Thanks for being in here. Forever blessed.
Yeah, your mustache. Did your dad have a mustache like that back in the old days?
I guess. I mean, I pretty much had a mustache. I mean, I went through a phase.
You went back and forth, right?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of, you know, for, I don't know, about 3 months or 4 months, I was cutting everything off. But before that, I mean, I always had like a goatee. It might have been more like a year I was cutting it off.
I used to have a goatee back like 15 years ago. Actually, around the time I met my wife. I haven't had one since, but yeah, she likes me shaved. But I mean, I don't know if I want one anyways. I don't know. I wonder if it'd be white now or something. I don't want to have a white goatee. Weird looking. I don't know.
Yeah. All right, folks. Well, I think we have gotten our way to the end of the show. Thank you very much. Thanks for being here. Like, share, comment, subscribe, become a channel member where you'll get access to all archive videos, support independent media, super chats enabled, super thanks for the Replay Gang, Cash App, Venmo, PayPal, Dr. Thunder Music, all one word. Spell out the word doctor. If you'd like to buy me a sandwich, then hit the Cash App Sandwich Gang in the building. Make sure you go over to Tony's channels. They are linked in the they're linked in the title of the video. You can go directly over there. Make sure you sub. Make sure you join. All of that good stuff. He's got great content over there. Super knowledgeable. Yeah. So, I think that's going to be our show.
That was good, man. It's already midnight anyway, so it's been a while.
Yeah, and try not to get vaporized by the eclipse, by the way. Yeah. Don't get vaporized. Yeah.
Don't put your tinfoil hat on while you're there either. So
I don't know. The tinfoil, that tinfoil hat would be super strong.
Exactly. You'd be like,
here's a lot of weird stuff. Man, we'd be hearing all kinds of stuff.
Stop chirping, wolves running in circles and stuff. I don't
know. And also we are changing our show day from Thursdays to Tuesdays. So next week our show will be on Tuesday, not Thursday. We're moving to Tuesday. So actually we'll have a show right after the eclipse. As long as the world doesn't end on that. During the eclipse, we'll have a show.
Or if we raptured, you might just see two empty chairs here. So
that's right. That's right. We'll have the broadcast programmed in.
Just two empty chairs.
It'll stream, but nobody will be here.
We'll hire Chat GPT to run the show while we're gone.
Yeah. I don't know. I might put my tinfoil cap in the chair so you can see that you can finally have evidence that I have been doing what I said. I know. I never wear it on the broadcast, but I assure you it's under the table right here. As soon as the show is off, both Tony and I will put them back on, and just to make sure that we're able to tune into all of the, the good
story,
the good stuff. Okay. So spiracy. All right. We will, we'll see y'all later. Goodbye.
Yeah. See you guys. Have a good night.
All right. Peace.